Okay, today we will be looking at how to draw a face in profile. Now we've looked at face in three-quarter view, we've looked at face in front view. The next most immediate perspective on how to draw a face is, of course, profile. Profile is when you see half the face. It's when the entire face symmetry is missing, gone completely. You don't have to worry about symmetry anymore. Front view, you worry about symmetry. Quarter view, you worry about symmetry, but side view, which is profile, you worry about something else. So this is front view. We have symmetry line. This symmetry line divides one side of the face from the other. As artists, we have to know how to divide each side properly. This is quarter view. Sorry about the retarded strokes. Quarter view, the symmetry line is pushed off to one side, and we have to learn how to divide the symmetry therein. Know which parts stack on each other, how the nose allows one eye to be visible and one eye to be half hidden, the lips to have one side longer than the other side. So the symmetry line in this case, there's still the cross section, the actual kebab line that goes through all objects that helps them balance. But the symmetry line itself is pushed off to the side, and there's a distance between the original straight line that divides the mass of the object versus the line that divides the surface area of the object. And then you have side view. Then we get three-quarter view. Then we get profile view. Side view, or profile, is when we don't have to worry about the surface area divider anymore, which is the symmetry line. This is the surface area divider. All we have is the center of mass divider, which is the line going through the head as if it's a kebab or a piece of cheese and a toothpick in the piece of cheese. And then the surface area line is what we see in action. So if we zoomed up to this side view here, the surface area line, which is the symmetry line, that is in three-quarter view to the side and in front view right down the middle, we see what it looks like from the side, meaning that we see the grooves of the face, the up and down movements of the face. We see the actual changes in heights and changes in altitude, let's say. Let me just show you why I said altitude. When we want to measure the heights of a mountain, what we do is we create a graph and we see how high it is, surface area from the water, or the distance from the closest body of water, because that's basically what our reference point is. All water sort of stays at the same level on the earth, or somewhat like that. Large bodies of water anyway. And we see a sort of cross section of the mountain. We see a sort of cut down the middle of the mountain, and then we see what the mountain's all about, similar to this. This is sort of a cut down of the mountain. Also this, and then there's one that stretches all across the world, the Canadian Rockies, all the way to the Himalayas. And the side of a human's face acts the same way, meaning that we see the surface area changes that we're suggesting with drawing a nose from the side, or drawing the pits of the eyeballs and how they are pushed inward and how the eyebrows are pushed outward. This is something that we have to prove, not through contouring or lighting, but through an actual line that represents the up and down movements of the face. Sorry about my lack of quality at the moment. It's the fighter. I wish my immune system was an fighter right now, but my immune system is absolute garbage. It's really failing me. It's been failing me. Okay, so we have the center of mass line. So we drew a circle for the head first. First. You always draw a shape to represent the mass of the head you're painting. Okay, it's not I'm Istebrak. Okay. And this guy's got a pretty good, looks like Tiesto. Okay. So this line down the middle, as I said, is like having a piece of cheese and you're at the store in Costco and they're giving you a piece of cheese. This piece of cheese is put in the middle that if it were standing on itself, it would be able to balance either side equally. This is what this line is. This is a line that you have to worry about when you're painting profile view. You don't worry about the symmetry line anymore. Why? Because there is no more symmetry. You're just painting one side, which is why some people say it's easier for them to paint profile. I knew I had an easy time when I was young and I was learning. Not that I'm not still learning. But when I was younger, I had a lot easier time drawing in profile view than in front view because I had a lot of trouble sort of respecting the symmetry line. And it is much easier to draw a profile view, in my opinion, than drawing a three-quarter view. Three-quarter view is the hardest. Then comes underneath that, the second hardest is front view, and then the third hardest is profile view. Why do I say that? It's because symmetry is really important, balance is really important, and that's something you sort of have to worry about with first and second ones, perspectives. But with side view, the only thing that you have to worry about is one very important thing, and that's if you were to see this person from up close, would their nose be too wide? Because some people put the nose that they draw all the way here. Some people think it's okay to have this. If you were to see this person from real life, and you were to look at them front view, their nose would be very, very wide. His nose ends right near where his eyes end. So his eyes would be here, and his nose would be there. So you have to still think about the symmetry involved, but you have to think about the symmetry in your head. You have to think about the symmetry in a way where when you're drawing the line that represents the nostril, if you follow that line along the contours, it should be within the periphery of the midway through the eyes. Okay. Black screen. The cheese didn't like being balanced. Is it off? Is it offline? No? Okay. So basically that's pretty much it. The best thing that you guys have to the most important thing that you guys and the best piece of advice that I can give you for drawing profile view is keeping the mass, the center of mass, the piece of cheese, the toothpick in the right spot. Why? Because drawing in profile, we see I didn't zoom out, and so the chin looks like freaking I don't know what. Because when you're working to balance where the head is, sometimes people draw a good thing, but they end the head this early. That's wrong. The point of this line here, this symmetry line, but not really symmetry, it's more like center of mass, is to help you balance how much of the head is left and how much of the curvature of the head is left on one side and how much of the face is showing on one side. It also helps you find another very important feature, which is the ear. The ear is always on the inside part towards the face between the eye line and the nose line. Sorry. And it is always on the inside of that line. And that helps you find that center of mass. And once you find that center of mass, you're good to go, because everything after that is just detail. Okay? So let's say you're drawing a face, and this happens a lot, and you draw a good dip, you draw a good brow bone. So these are the things that you're supposed to have when you're drawing a side view. You're supposed to have the brow bone, the forehead bump, the height of the nose, which is the highest piece of the face. Nothing should go higher than this. If the chin goes anywhere near there, then the chin is way too big. The chin is always either beneath or a little bit in front of the bottom lip. Then we have the lip dips. So lip number 1, dip of the lip, so this little groove here. Lip number 2, and then the chin. For men, after that you have an Adam's apple that you have to represent. For women, that's all you have to represent. For women, if you sort of introduce a nice little collarbone and a thinner, more slender neck, then you have a side view of a woman. This is all from your sort of, if you're having a reference, and obviously stick to the reference, but if you're using from your visual library, these are the key things that you have to remember. So the first thing, is it really that bad? I think my Procaster has a cold too. So if you were to write these on a checklist, you would have forehead bump. I'm sorry about the total mess of things. Just my brain is just off. Okay, forehead bump. And then you have the brow bump. And then the socket dip. So all you really have are dips and bumps. Okay? You have dips, and then you have bumps, and then you have a mountain range, which is why I refer to the mountain range thing. It really helps me remember things if I create metaphors for them. And then you have the nose bump, which is sort of the Mount Everest, the highest of the face. And then you have lip bump number 2, or you have the, let's call it the Cupid bow dip. A dip right under the nose, that's very important. And then you have the lip 1 bump, then dip, then lip 2 bump, this one here, and then a dip, a final dip for the soul patch for guys, and then you have the chin bump. Okay. I had sinusitis for a month, and then I felt better because I took antibiotics, and then yesterday, as I said earlier, I took a walk in the cold. I didn't cover up well. I thought it was summertime, like an idiot, and then I got strep throat that same evening. I got more medicine though, so don't you worry about me. Oh, jeez. And then these are I know it's a lot, but if you remember these, you can paint any kind of side view. Any kind, I say any kind, meaning that you can paint an old person's if you manipulate some of these. So an old person, imagine an old person getting older, meaning the gravity is pushing down lower, meaning the face and the fat is more susceptible to the pull. When we're looking at an old person's side view, what we're seeing is an extended brow bone. So bump number 2, and a sort of bulging out, shrunken upper cranial. Not shrunken, but sort of hollowed, not hollowed out, like sort of shriveled down. The hairline usually makes the skull look very big, but because the hair is decreased, in older people, the skull is sort of visible, and the skull is generally much smaller. And then you have an enlarged nose, and there is a dip, but the dip can either be replaced by a brow sort of thing, a brow bulge, where you have the fat of the brow causing like a thing in between. Sort of if you had eye number 1, eye number 2, you'd have this brow bulge. This little bulge here of fat. You can represent that. And then you have the lips. Bottom lips usually disappear. Top lips usually overtake because the teeth are sunken in. And the chin is sort of also sunken in and pushed back down. And then you have nostrils. Nostrils sort of flare up and expand and then decrease again as you get older. Not decrease. And then you have a bit of fat. And then you have second chin. And then you have the back, or the haunch. And then you have ear line. Ears are also a little bit sagged up, pushing down like Buddha's ears. No offense. And then you have lines on the face. So right now, we're really focusing on are the lines themselves, the mountain range of a side view. But what I will be talking about next is how to draw the eyes, the nose, and the lips on side view. But for now, just keep up with the sort of topic. And then you have the brow dip. So when we get into features, we sort of have to represent the features as if we're seeing the features from side view too. It's not just the face that we're seeing from side view, it's the features that we're seeing from side view. So we've learned 2 rules: respect the center of mass line. So you have the face shape, and then you have the center of mass, and then you go in and paint the side view. Okay? This line helps you find where the neck is, it helps you find where the side of the head is, and it helps you find where the ears are. Second thing is, you're not only painting the face, in side view, but you're painting the features in side view as well. I mean, what did I say painting? Face and side view, but the features as well. What does that mean? It means that when you after you do all these dips, after you have your face set out, you have the center of mass line respected, then you do all the dips, and then you're ready to draw the faces. Some of you, and this is the biggest problem, some of you, when you draw these side, did you guys hear that? I muted that, right? You didn't hear me like, stop, Richie. You're not crap. Some of you, when you draw the side, okay, of the nose, and you want to draw the eyes, some of you draw the eyes like this. Not actually like this. Some of you are actually like this, but some of you draw it like this. What I mean by like this, corner to corner. You're seeing each corner of the eyes. You're seeing all the beautiful lashes come out, and that's how you're drawing the side view. What is wrong with this image? The first thing that's wrong is that if this person was real, their face would look like a fish. So a fish, when it has sort of eyes, its eyes are on the sides because essentially it's a flat surface and it has very little face surface area. And so what we get is when they look towards you, you see bulge number 1 and bulge number 2, and then you see their mouth open. You don't really see the eyes like this. Okay, so this is what happens when you guys draw these kinds of eyes. It looks like a fish face. Why? Because you're not making the eyes look like they're from the side too. How do you make an eye look like it's from the side? Well, think about how to draw an eye. You first start with the circle, and then you go on with the eyelids. But if you're on the side view, this bulge of the eyelid, this bulge of the eye, so let's say this is the side of the eye, this little bulge here, okay, no. This little bulge is hiding the inner tear duct. So that tear duct is almost invisible. Almost invisible. And then you have the upper lid. The upper lid doesn't go like this. The upper lid ends much earlier than that. It ends somewhere here because you're seeing from the side. So you have to imagine sculpting this eye and seeing it from the side. Then you have the folds. You have to represent the folds. So far, we're sort of drawing a pretty good side view. Why? Because we're using all the rules. And then you have the bottom lid that you have to represent. So now you have the bottom lid and you have tear duct number 2. And then you have the eyebrow. I mean, the eyebrow isn't like this either. The eyebrow ends when the eye ends. So don't let it go on past the eye like that. We're not drawing cartoons here. If we were, then you can break these rules. But never let the eyebrow go farther than the eye. You wouldn't do it in real life, so why would you in side view? I mean front view, so why would you in side view? And it wouldn't happen in real life. Okay? And that's pretty much it for drawing eyes on side view. About drawing nostrils on side view. Nostrils, some of you push the nostril, like I said before. Second, this pen pressure stopped working. Okay, Rich. No, eyebrow never goes further than the eye. It can go further than the eye hair-wise, like the hair can trail off, but the eyebrow bone, when you say eyebrow, I think eyebrow bone. The eyebrow bone doesn't go further than the eye. We're not what are they called? Homo sapien? Some kind of name for those big, bulgy, eyebrow-boned cavemen. A hair can trail off. Hair is hair. Hair grows. Some people are hairy, some people aren't hairy. Hair trails off all the way to your hairline. But the eyebrow bone, when I say eyebrow, I really worry about just the thickest part. Homo erectus, yeah. When I think about, the Neanderthal. When I think about eyebrows, I think of them only as the most important parts, the parts that actually protect the eyelashes. Okay? Those never go further. The eyebrow bone doesn't really go further. So the socket line. And when you're drawing, if you're drawing, you're not doing real life stuff. If you're drawing and you want to extend the eyebrow, you don't extend the eyebrow with black. You extend it with a brown or a sort of gentle brown color. You don't extend it with the same color that you use for this part of the brow. Okay? So that's basically what I mean. Some eyebrows do trail off here, but that's just hair. Okay? So remember that important part. And the reason why I say eyebrows are just essentially the brow bone is that when you bring in your lighter color, you're not going to stretch the lighter color all the way down here, are you, Mattia? You're only going to put it in the areas that are actually capturing light, which is up here, right directly under the eye. And the reason why I said that is because it is hair. Eyebrow is hair, but it's also bone. So when you sketch it, this is why I tell you sketch out the shade of the eyebrow first with the light underneath it. That illumination, because that's essentially what an eyebrow is. Whether you want to make it longer or not is your choice. But you have to make sure you establish the essential eye shape. Okay, which is what I mean by eyebrow. This to me is eyebrow. Anything after or before this is just excessive hair or makeup. Next up is nostrils. When you paint nostrils, I'm sorry if I keep muting it because I am sneezing. When you paint nostrils, you have to think of the nostrils in 3/4 as well. So nostrils, from bottom view, looking up, they're sort of a triangular shape. Depends really on the nose. Some of them are rounder. But essential beauty is triangular shape, which is why after you do cosmetic surgery, they're always really triangular, which you can tell because sort of they did a really bad job at it and made it too beautiful. Okay. But they're essentially sort of a triangular shaped, curved at the corners sort of thing. And then you have the two cartilage at either side, and then you have the nostril, and then you have the tip. And that's sort of a nose from the top view, from bottom view. And you have lip number 1 and all of that jazz. When you do it from the side or from front view without looking up at the nose, you have a sort of slit or like a very, very decreased part where we only see this area here, the bottom area. And then we see the tip of the nose, and that's pretty much it. Okay? When we see it from the side, we're still seeing one part only. We're seeing this inner part here. So all we're really seeing is sort of a front view, we're seeing the bottom part, and side view, we're seeing the inner corner. So the inner corner in front view is hidden under the fat fold. So this is one nostril. But in side view, what we see is something that looks like this. We see this part here that was hidden from before. So just like the eye looks like a triangle, the nostril also looks like a triangle. So to sort of give you a clue is you have triangle number 1, this is the lash, and this is where the eye is, and then triangle number 2, and then just make sure you add in a nostril line. And that's basically sort of like a little clue for side view for nose. For lips, again, beauty is when the upper lip is bigger than the bottom lip, so sticks out just like a child's, and then bottom lip is less perky than the upper lip, and the chin just hits the area of the top lip. Doesn't go any further than that. It can go less than that if you want to if you want to make it like a more masculine looking character. I'm sorry this is retarded because I haven't zoomed out. Masculine character, you can extend all of these. Sorry. Okay, and the lip corner itself also can't be stretched out all the way here like an anime, or you draw the mouth like this. You have to make sure that you respect and keep the same areas that I told you should be darkest, should remain the darkest. So I'll bring down these lines and reestablish the dark spots again. But in side view, we don't have 6, we have half of that. We have 3. And then we have corner number 1. For shading the eyes, or for shading the face, it's the same thing. All the areas that I told you, the light spots, go in the same spot if you're doing that kind of lighting. And then you just render from there. And that's pretty much it. It's very easy. It's a very easy angle, and you can have a lot of fun with it. You try to, paint yourself a normal one, and then go into Liquefy and see how much more different if you change the slightest little details. So let's see what we can do. It's a very easy angle to work with, in my opinion. So let's sort of increase his upper area, bulge out his nose. Let's make him look like he's 40. Sag up his lips. His lips have lost their perkiness. His chin is sort of pushed out. And sort of this is him when he's like not even 40, just like 60 or something. So remember that your lips sag down and they lose all their perkiness when you're older. The Cupid's bow is flattened out. And ear is bulged like a Buddha's ear. And your nose keeps growing. It's the one thing that keeps growing after you're done, because it moves out and then it moves down. So gravity really pushes it down. And all the fat heads in that direction. Sort of increase that line here. And then for little details, you can add in a bag under his eye. And then a bag over his eye. Okay? So this is him when he's 16, and this is him when he's 60. The side view is very easy to work with. If you're doing this kind of old person, young person, in front view, holy crap, do you have a lot of work to do, because you're going to have to change the size, you're going to have to change the lighting, you're going to have to expand the eyebrows, you're going to have a lot of more work to do, because you're working from front view, you're working with the full throttle. You're working with the full picture. You have to address every single kind of detail on front view. On side view, equally as difficult, because then you have to show how the nose hides the eye behind it. But three-quarter view, I mean. But profile view is when you only worry about one side. The line of symmetry is gone. You don't have to worry about it. You only have the center of mass line to make sure that the balance is there, and that you've drawn there's equal amount of cranium on the back, so it doesn't look like the head is going to fall forward. And that you're balancing the brow bones and you're balancing everything together. Okay? Does anyone have any questions? Sorry about if the lesson is a bit rushed today. I'm really just dizzy. One second. Okay, how does the neck connect? It's a good question. The neck connects in a way where it's slanted. Some of you think that the neck connects like this, straight down, and then you have side view. Some of you think the neck connects like this. The neck doesn't connect like that. The neck connects at an angle, Mattia. If you draw the neck like this, then you have to draw the chest, and the chest will look like it's sticking out. And when you straighten up your neck, that's when you look like you're saluting your general or something. Okay? But when you're slouched or you're relaxed, your neck sort of sticks back to where it usually grows from, which is the back of the spine. So you have to think about the spine when the spine is relaxed. Even more relaxed than that. When everything is sort of this way. When the neck is straight, the neck follows the spine. It is the spine. And so it goes like this, and that's when the neck looks like it's straight down. Okay? So when you're drawing the side view and it's a relaxed face or a relaxed figure, sort of a girl sitting down, chilling, or you're even if you're not drawing side view, remembering how side view works helps you draw other sides as well. So the neck is always at a sort of angle on relaxed mode. That's too much. Okay? Then you have the spine, and then you have the chest area, and then you have the stomach, and then you have shoulders, and you have a ball cap. My little tip is drawing the forehead, after drawing the head, when you get into drawing the forehead, draw the forehead bulge, then draw the eyebrow bulge. Let me zoom out. And then skip the nose bulge, but give the nose a little bit of a thing. Skip the nose bulge, skip the lip bulge, and go straight into the chin. That helps you close off the face. Sometimes some of you go straight into nose, and then there's not enough space left for the chin, so the chin looks like it's sort of sticking out. So go straight into now it looks like Voldemort, but that's good. When it looks like Voldemort, you're in a good place. And then draw the nose. Don't draw the lips after. Nose should be higher than eyebrow and chin. Remember how the fat distributes. The nostrils always point up, so that's where they should be going, upward. And then draw lip number 2. And make sure that lip number 1 and lip number 2. Lip number 2 is lower than lip number 1. Remember the side view of the triangle, so triangle, and then triangle. And that the eyebrow finishes off sooner. And then one little tiny little detail is the lashes. Make sure that there's a line to represent the lashes. Oh, my hamster. And now you have a sort of side view. And if it's a boy, don't forget the Adam's apple. All these tiny little details are very important. You see how he looks relaxed, sort of, because of his position of the neck? He's got a pretty muscular neck, but bear with me. And if you have your center of mass line, you know where to draw the ears. Okay? So that's an easy little tip for you guys. Does anyone have any questions about this tip? Before I go on to Saru's question. No? So do you guys get what I mean when I say skip some of the steps? Because if you try to do too much of the mountain ranges without having the first and the highest and the lowest mountain range, then you're gonna have trouble finding the middle mountain range. This is what I think about. So this is the first one. These two. Once you have these two, you know where to put the middle one, and then you know where to put this one. If you go straight in from this and then this, you give yourself too much leisure, and then when it comes time to the chin looks like it's just like that. I have that trouble all the time. Okay, you can put the guiding lines too. You can put those 3 lines, no problem. Those lines will help you. But because I don't really worry about symmetry anymore, I don't introduce these lines. Just make sure that you're within the You're within the brow. All the features are within the brow. If the features go outside of the brow line, this is the brow line, this is the brow. If any features go outside the brow line, it'll be like having front view, and then you have the brow line, and then if this mouth was all the way back here, then this person's mouth would be all the way back there in real life, or in front view. Okay, so just make sure all the features are inside. So the eye line is inside, the lip line is inside, the nose line is inside. Okay? Hi, Mark Love. I start with a circle, then straight line, and place all the features on that, and then connect the end of that line with the circle. That works as well. Okay. So Saru's question: how to make all the face look like it's similar in front view, three-quarter view, and side view or profile. 1 minute. The way to do that, well, it's hard to do that, Saru. 3D modelers, it's easy for them to do that because they just know how to make a face, and then they know how to rotate the image, rotate the shape, and then they get a front view, side view. But as an artist, you have to know how to measure the face and how to make the measurements consistent. So the best way to do that, Saru, my answer to you, the best way to do that is to measure and keep all the measurements between the two eye distances, the nostrils within the eye distance, the lip distance, the measurements consistent when you cut them in half for side view, or when you cut them in a quarter or take a quarter off for three-quarter view. Okay. It's not easy for 3D modelers. I'm saying that when you design the face in 3D modeling, I know 3D modeling isn't an easy topic or an easy concept. I did some 3D modeling too, and it is kind of easy. I'm not talking about multiple polygon whatever. I'm just talking about a face. If after you've done modeling the face, all you have to do is rotate the image to get three-quarter view, side view, and front view. If you're a 3D modeler and you're working for Disney and you want to have like a character sheet set up, and you want to show the character from side view, from front view, and from three-quarter view, you just drag and rotate, and then you see all these different angles. But artists have to draw each and every single these angles. They have to render them, and so in the end, it's harder to draw these angles than rotate. Okay. Yeah, measure the features against each other. If you know if one feature is right, it should be pretty straightforward from there. Exactly, Concept Sam. So Sarah, if you want to make everything look similar, your best bet is measuring using an actual ruler, and then making sure that the character has the same signifiers, which is like a scar that can keep the image consistent, or the hair design, or beauty marks or freckles. And that's and bone structure as well. If the person has a lot of bone structure, this is another big one, cheekbones. If the person in front view has a lot of beautiful bone structure here, big chin, big eyebrows, and then you draw them in side view and they have like no bone structure and only one side has bone structure, the way to make them look similar is to make the bone structure also reflect. So it's also measurement, but measurement in bone structure, not just in features. And keeping these bone structures similar. So big eyebrow, big cheekbone, and big chin. If you're doing this in side view. And this is three-quarter view, this is front, and this is side view. Side view also has to reflect the intense bone structure as well. Okay? So that's sort of how you keep things consistent and make it look the same. Make sure that all of the signifiers are there. Signifiers meaning features as well as tiny little details. The chest part in three-quarter view. So let's take this dude over here. So the chest part follows in suit. If your chest is reaching more than your thing, this person is a bit on the obese side, and then he has a stomach, and then he has a slouchy back, and he looks like a very fit 60-year-old guy, maybe 40. But if you want to draw someone who isn't particularly chubby, the chest line doesn't reach more than the chin line. So draw a line down the chin. You want to draw someone that is fit, and if you want to draw someone that is fit, make sure that it is within the... So this looks like a more fit and less of a stomach bulge, so no beer belly. You can still add in a beer belly, just means that he collects all his fat in that part of his body. But the fatter sort of the figure is, the more the chest sticks out, meaning that the more fat is there. Okay? How about big muscles on the chest? Those are just rendering. Those are just dividing it into muscles like this. Let's say this guy is super muscular. If he's muscular, he has fat on him, meaning that the body mass is higher. So when body mass is higher, it means that it goes past the chin line, Mattia. So if you have a chin line and he's particularly fit, let's say that he's got really high pectorals. Okay, let's make his lats big too. And his arm muscles here, they're also big. And then he's got abs. And then he's got the inside, and then he's got his butt. So the chest line moves past. I know his neck seems hugely long, but just stick with it right now. His chest sort of moves past it, and then you have contours that help define the chest cavity, and then the abs. Those don't look like abs, but you know what I'm saying. And then the muscle thing. But this isn't really about figure drawing right now. Figure drawing, I'll cover all of this for you. Because I really don't want you to focus on figures at the moment. If you do get a commission where you have figures, run it by me and I'll help you out. But as for focusing on figures themselves, I don't want you to be confused with that stuff just yet. If you want to draw a basic person who isn't muscular but is quite lean, just make sure that your chest line is beneath the chin. If you want to draw someone that is fat or muscular, past the chin.